we actually sat down and said, hey, let's get a group of 8 to 10 people within our own networks and let's see what can come from it. The first event, I think we had 40 business owners that came. So it grew quicker than we expected, but we just realized how much the business owners in the area do want to collaborate and do want to come together. And also the give back is what it's been a huge part of Connect Macarthur. I guess, our tagline is where business synergy meets community engagement, and that's been huge for us.
You know, we become friends and mates before we become referral partners. And that, to me, the longevity of any relationship is predicated on a few things: trust, mateship, and the ability to work together on multiple different levels. Both of those things allows business for me to be a lot easier.
That's another reason why I enjoy the Connect events and networking events, because when you connect, they genuinely enjoy adding value and supporting through conversations.
And I think you'll find too that everybody is at a different cycle of their business. So I could be having a win, Brad could be having a loss, vice versa. Bounce and share those struggles. And I put my hand up and say that every time we have a chat with anybody, doesn't matter who it is, that they've either experienced it or are currently going through it and have solutions to get you through the other side. And if you're thinking about networking, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. You know, get out there, create those opportunities for your business, because you won't look back.
Welcome to episode 30.
That's it, ladies and gentlemen. We just had Brad smack the gong and celebrating episode 30 of the Connect podcast. Today we have the two OGs, Brad Durant from Xperity Capital and Dan Caldwell from GPL Partners, the two founders of the Connect podcast. Welcome.
Thanks, Pat. You nearly confused us.
That's it.
Yeah, but I got it right. I pointed to the right person a couple of seconds after. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
All right. Yeah, Brad's got the hair, Dan doesn't.
The two OGs of the Connect podcast, the two OGs of Connect Macarthur. This was a vision that started in 2023.
2023. The first event was, December 2023.
Yeah, let's go back to that. Let's go back to where it all started. I know we had a very surface level conversation about this with Ron and Ben a few episodes ago at the start, but let's dive into the nitty gritty. How did it all come about? What was the vision at the start? And I want to hear about you guys, how's business, and then what we're going to be doing and taking Connect to.
Sounds good. Do you want to kick it off?
Yeah, I think Connect Macarthur sort of started over a beer over the sort of about a period of 2 or 3 months. We wanted to look to engage multiple businesses and business owners across the Macarthur area because we see a lot of opportunity over the next sort of 5 to 10 years for the implementation of the airport, a very particular growth area. And we think that there's an opportunity for all business owners here in Macarthur, and we want to bring those people together.
Yeah, nice. And Brad, what was your take on that? Was that all Dan, or
no?
Do you have any input on that?
I think, look, we actually sat down and said, hey, let's get a group of 8 to 10 people within our own networks and let's see what can come from it. And then the first event, I think we had 40 business owners that came. So it grew quicker than we expected, but we just realized how much the business owners in the area do want to collaborate and do want to come together. And also the give back is what it's been a huge part of Connect Macarthur. I guess, our tagline is where business synergy meets community engagement. And that's been huge for us. Getting to that, look, we started out thinking, okay, we're going to have 10 business owners, and we had 40, we had 50, 60, we've had like up to 90, 100 guests come along. But I guess the biggest thing we didn't realize we'd get to is the give back, and that's dealing with the likes of Kids at Macarthur and other local charities and donating 700 presents we're able to get to last year. So that's been a huge thing for us, and it's like that feel good thing. We do business to be able to give back to those.
And I guess like anything, things evolve. At the start, when it was first thought of and when it was first discussed over a beer, it wasn't like, hey, we're going to put these things in place and we're going to give back and charity. Maybe it was, but like anything, when people come together, there's an element of growth and creation, and I guess that's where the charity came off the back of. Would you say?
That's right.
Yeah.
It's something we didn't set out to originally, but then the more we thought about it, we're like, look, there's something here. We're making some inroads. We're getting some good traction on social media. What can we do to and then we just started thinking of different ideas, spoke to different people. Why don't we do this? And then then it started from there.
I guess when you're starting anything, you need a good couple of fellas to support the vision as well. Is that where we came in as well?
Yeah, I think between all five of us,
Yeah.
myself, Brad, yourself, Pat, Ben, and Ronnie, we all put our heads together at some point and come up with the vision. I mean, when we first started, it was more about the networking. We're all from a networking background, so it was pure networking.
Our business was built on networking.
That's right.
How can we continue that and help other businesses as well?
Yeah.
And made sure we stayed in touch with our referral partners and other referral partners. And from there, it just took off.
Yeah.
And I think especially in terms of the podcast, especially, the incentive for people to sponsor and support our events and then getting a gig on the podcast has been huge and being able to elevate their businesses as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we always want to hear people's journeys and stories in business and what they face and what sort of value they feel like they can give back to other people in business through a recorded conversation. That's a really cool part that I actually enjoy, and I feel it's benefited a few people that have sponsored the event in the past.
Definitely.
Now, with the start of Connect, how did it evolve into what it is today? Because there's been a few events over the last few years. There's a few hundred people that have been a part of it. There's been an insane amount of opportunity and collaboration off the back of these events. What does it look like for a person to come to a Connect event, and how does that sort of translate into where it can support their business?
We've had, I think, 12 events now since December 2023. I think over 600 business owners have attended those events. But I think we're dealing with small startup businesses, and there's a lot of experienced businesses in there. So the experienced business owners are learning things from the new businesses and vice versa. So I think whether you're an experienced business owner or you're a startup, I think coming along, it's nothing formal, social event, you just don't know where your conversations can lead to. And you speak to somebody that's come to previous Connect events, they'll ask, who would you like to sort of meet? And they'll start doing those introductions for you.
Yeah. And I think us coming from a networking background, we've all dabbled in different types of networking where we've seen what it was able to create for our businesses and the opportunities that step into our world. I feel like knowing that it was able to help support and strengthen where Connect Macarthur would actually.
That's right. We learnt what worked in previous networking groups and then how that can work for new entrants into a Connect Macarthur to make them feel comfortable with the situation, but also make it valuable as well.
Yeah.
Not just coming along and having a drink and enjoying the casino night or the movie event that we had recently. It's actually coming along and getting some value out of it.
Yeah. And I think, like, if I talk from my own perspective, I was very introverted at the start, still am.
Yeah.
But I think for Connect Macarthur, for me, it was very difficult to network at the start, right? You grow and learn from that. But I think the opportunity to be sort of a little bit more open, a little bit more social, relaxed setting allows people that don't have that experience to come in and enjoy the atmosphere. Once you add on top, the Facebook group that we've got, the WhatsApp group chat, that then allows them to get involved in terms of their business, ask for, particular contacts or people that they're interested in looking
post-event.
Yeah, 100%. The ability to connect post-event and not necessarily go direct to that in the social event, just get to know somebody. I think even if we reference the 5 of us at the Connect level, we become friends and mates before we become referral partners. And that, to me, longevity of any relationship is predicated on a few things: trust, mateship, and the ability to work together on multiple different levels, not just a social level, not just a professional level, but the ability to bridge both of those things allows, business for me to be a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. I always want to do business with someone that I like, trust, and enjoy having conversations with. And in business, you're not always going to get that, but it's something I've noticed when I've collaborated with people within our Connect community is that we're pretty much surrounded with a lot of cool people that want to support, that want to be a part of. Yeah, similar values. You can have good conversations with, and sometimes I guess like anything, if someone comes into an environment that they're not too it's a new environment.
They're not used to.
Yeah, it's a foreign environment. It could then turn into something that may not work for them. But with Connect, everyone's pretty welcoming.
Yeah, it's not putting them off.
Yeah. I think intimidation's probably that word. Like, if again, put my in my shoes, I used to go to networking and be intimidated by business owners around me. But the more you grow into that environment, you start to realize that it's not about intimidation. It's about helping one another, growing your own business, growing other people's businesses, because there's things that we all share that are common, but also we also have certain strengths and the ability to deal with problems that every business owner faces at some point in their business life cycle. Brings that all back together.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, fellas, let's dive into your businesses, if you don't mind. I know since the last time we sat here and had a conversation that was recorded, you were in a different office, and now you've upgraded, you've moved into a new place, which is pretty cool and very fancy. How did that look like? But what was the office upgrade? Well, how did it come about?
Well, the original collaboration between us came from networking. We're obviously 3 professional service businesses, and we had a small office in Oran Park, but all are growing, and we've grown off each other's networks and clients. So bringing on more staff and the opportunity to grow was the main reason behind the move.
Yep.
And then GPL partners.
Yeah, I think the ability, like I said, it's a real focal point for us out here in the Southwest. So to have, a fixed premises where clients can come and go, more professional environment, meeting rooms, kitchens, the like, that is solely just ours. Just give that more fixed feel into the Southwest, and to bring Brad and Ron into that environment to help and support one another, not only personally, but professionally, our own clients, individual clients. I think it kind of made, the way I see it is, makes it a one-stop shop for those clients in that professional services field. When you've got accountant, financial planner and broker all in the same office, makes it convenient for the clients.
And it's like Gregory Hills HQ, by the way. We didn't mention where it was.
No, that's true.
And then on the back of that, I think I was trying to count before, there's 6 or 7 other businesses just in our building that have come to Connect events. And we've held a Connect event there hosted by Coots, where we got the developer and owner of the site, Don Bittaloni, who came out and got to speak about the development itself and the area. That's where we met Sarah Ryan from Connect Macarthur. So even just that one small event, it gave us an opportunity to meet those business owners in the building, which we've built relationships with, had events with, and collaborated with post that move into Gregory Hills HQ. So
yeah, and then that translated into what our charity run turned into last year for the Christmas toy drive.
Correct.
So we wouldn't have connected with Sarah Ryan, the CEO of Kids of Macarthur, if it wasn't for that Coots event held at Gregory Hills
HQ. Correct.
Yeah.
And on that note, that was Pat's second event. I think Pat and Oztech Sparks have hosted. So it was another
toy drive.
The toy drive.
Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Yes.
And then in collaboration with Kids of Macarthur. So it's all on the back of raising toys, raising presents at Christmas time. So I think we had 700 last year.
700 in 2025.
And then 2024 was about just over 500. So I think we've got some plans and aspirations to get over maybe the 1,000 mark this year.
Oh, mate. Well, it was pretty tough the last couple of years to hit those numbers, but the best thing about it was that it brought the whole community together.
Yep.
All the businesses that have, a lot of the businesses in our local area caught on to what we were doing, what we were driving with Connect Macarthur, and there was also other businesses like Shadow Fitness that has jumped in and supported it with their networks, and everyone just wanted to jump on board and collaborate and really drive this thing to hit a number which will give you a nice warm feeling inside, knowing that that's what you've been able to deliver
100%.
A charity like Kids at Macarthur.
Yeah, people contacting us on social media. I was going to family barbecues at Christmas time. Everyone was aware of what was happening. I was like, really want to support again next year. And I think that good example I had was the lady who donated the vouchers, and she was one of the recipients. Her child received one of the toys unfortunately, when their daughter was sick, who's healthy now, but sick at the time at Christmas time. And Kids Macarthur delivered a present to them in a really sad and crazy time at Christmas. And knowing that we are now doing that same thing for multiple families was a really good story and good real feel-good factor of to think, you know what, this is what it's all about.
But you're 100% right. And on the surface level, it's us just donating toys. But on a deeper level, because our factory space was one of the main drop-off points, we had random people catching on and wanting to donate toys, rock up to the factory, ringing the doorbell, bringing a whole heap of toys and dropping them off. And every now and then would have someone that would tell us a story of how much of an impact it's left on their life and what they're trying to support their kids with as well. Like in some cases, we've had people with disabilities come to the factory with their workers, with their support workers, just wanting to donate. And then you'd have a conversation with the support worker or the person with a disability, and it would really touch your heart in a different way. So on a surface level, we're donating in volume, but when you come down to the nitty gritty of it all, it was really nice, loving thing because of how much of a difference it made in people's lives. So
100%.
Yeah, that's a big shout out to everybody who donated a toy across the 2 years, because it's not just, it's not just the 5 of us or Connect that are involved in that. That's the community in general. Yeah. And for me, as part of Connect Macarthur, that's what it's all about, bringing business owners, people together, foster good relationships and build on the opportunities that this area can provide us all.
Yeah, absolutely. And big shout out to Sarah Ryan, Kids of Macarthur, and what they're doing over there, because that's incredible. If we weren't collaborating with a company at scale like that, or a charity at scale like that, the reach wouldn't be the same. It would still be pumping numbers and stuff, but
I think they said they've
have a pretty good structure there.
We raise enough toys to be able to provide just Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, all events throughout the year into next year. So
yeah, well done. So diving back into your businesses, guys, we are now in 2026. Dan, you're in accounting, and Brad, you're in finance as a broker. What have you noticed now within the last few months? Of course, now it's crazy. It's a crazy time in the world. What have you noticed with the trends that have been happening that are affecting your industries or affecting businesses that you've connected with?
I think generally speaking, it's a tough time for everybody. We talk about inflation, rising costs, all those types of things. For business owners in particular, you add those facets plus the cost of employment, workers' comp policy, payroll tax, things like that. Businesses are doing it tough. And, the one thing I say to a lot of my clients or a lot of business owners is, you really just need to hang in there, focus on your systems, processes and people, because this won't hang around forever. And any business journey has its ups and its downs. And, right now is a downtime for most people, but focus on the things that you can control, your efficiencies and the like, because there is greener pastures on the other side. And I don't think that's too far away with a lot of the infrastructure around here. That means that, there is still a lot of opportunity to be had over the next 5 to 10 years. But if you get your business in the right shape now, that will only assist with that success moving forward, I think.
Yeah. Can I ask a deeper question? Now, you mentioned before businesses that are doing it tough. I feel like a lot of businesses are doing it tough, and the pressure is just going to keep weighing on their shoulders. At what point would businesses sort of hang in there until they say, you know what, enough's enough, and I'm pulling the plug and I'm just going to go get a full-time job?
Yeah, look, I think
from an accounting perspective.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different layers to that and a lot of different dynamics, to be fair. At the end of the day, it's got to be the right decision for you. There are a number of options out there, whether it's, sale of business, descaling, scaling down a little bit, small business restructure, liquidation, there are plenty of options out there. I mean, those last two that I mentioned are end of the line type scenarios. What I try and do is encourage people to be open and transparent. And that's brings back Connect Macarthur, because you're not the only person in that situation. There's a lot of businesses going through it, and just having a conversation. I was having a conversation with a client the other day about this exact same thing. And, focus on what you can control. And if if everything, you can't control anything, then maybe that's the time to review those back end scenarios. But, you've got to do what's right for yourself. And ultimately, what I've learnt in the last 5 to 10 years since having kids is that, money isn't everything, and neither is business. You've got to create the happiness from within. And if that happiness comes from going back and getting a secure full-time job, then that's what it is ultimately.
Yeah. Are you seeing more businesses shut up shop and move out of business and stepping into employment in the last few years?
I think very generally, yes.
Yeah.
But that's not for everybody, because it's hard when you've got your own business. It's hard to transition back into the employment world, but it is heating up. And the more you speak to liquidators and the like, there's a lot of intensity around or activity around that businesses shutting up shop. But there's also a lot of activity from the ATO in terms of debt collection, which puts an additional pressure on small businesses.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the flip side of that, let's say right now where a business is thriving and they're very liquid, they're profitable, and things are somewhere at scale, what would you sort of say to those businesses in terms of guidance and what they should do as next steps? Would it be focused more on sales? Would it be focused more on marketing or reach? Or as an accountant,
I think it depends.
Those businesses?
Yeah, it depends ultimately on everybody's on your own business plan. If you're at the end of your business life cycle, then it would be driving sales, I would think. But if you're at the start of your business cycle, all the changes in technology, AI and whatnot, for me in particular, it's about driving systems, processes and efficiencies to be able to put my business in a situation that it can thrive, foster and grow on the other side. So for those, to answer your question a bit more directly, Pat, I think for those businesses, it depends on the business plan, but I would say it's a combination of fostering that growth, but also making sure that the growth doesn't create pain points for your business. So that's focusing on systems, process and efficiencies. So they go hand in hand.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. Bradley, take it away, mate. What are you noticing now in today's world on your side of?
Look, it goes hand in hand with what Dan's saying. Obviously, with high interest rates, inflation's high, cost of living is expensive. But it's also, some clients are seen as a bit of an opportunity. So you can sit there, and I think Dan touched on it, is the end is near. It's not going to be like this forever. So you can either throw your hands up and say, that's just too difficult, then lose your asset and start from scratch. Or you can actually start to cut some costs, roll the sleeves up and really work out some plans to save some money. So like residential clients reviewing their home loans, seeing if they can get a better interest rate, trying to put as much funds into the offset account as possible. But also even simple things like electricity. Just there's many ways you can sort of cut costs to sort of get through this period. But then affordability obviously is an issue at the moment in terms of property. So that's reshaping the behavior in terms of what clients are now shifting towards. So instead of owner occupiers, we're seeing a lot more rent investors. So rent where you can live and afford, because rent has not caught up to the levels of where the interest rates have got to in terms of affordability of mortgages. So clients are still renting where they want to live, but still getting their foot in the door and growing their asset portfolio by buying cheaper, more affordable in growing area residential investment properties, while still renting and living where they want to, close to family, business, or whatever it may be. and you sort of got two different sides of things. You got residential and you got commercial. I think from a commercial standpoint, a lot of businesses who are flourishing are seeing this as an opportunity to acquire a site instead of leasing out the property, buying it through their self-managed super fund, pivoting, changing, thinking of different ideas to sort of get through this period and not just sort of plateauing, not taking a backward step, but how can we continue to look at trying to grow? Because it's not going to be here forever. And in 2-3 years down the track, when things have hopefully calmed down, you're either going to look back and regret what you did, or you're going to look back and think, I'm glad I did that and persevered through that period because I've now come out on the other side much better off.
Do you feel like, I'm going to ask this to both of you, do you feel like when you're a business owner, you're constantly focused on growing, or do you see business owners that just like to stay where they're at and just disregard growing? Like, I feel like it's
both.
I feel like it's an itch that business owners end up scratching. It's like when they get to this level on the inside, they just feel like, okay, now I have to take it to the next level. And it's a constant build of that. And then it's like, where do you draw the line? It's a build off of that until you're like in your 60s or.
Yeah, look, I see a combination of both. You've got business owners that have built their business to a great level or a sustainable level, and they're comfortable just doing that.
Yeah, right.
But there are also other business owners out there that really are driving hard and looking for opportunities like Brad alluded to around commercial property, the acquisition of a commercial property, growth in sales, growth in your team and your personnel. It's really individual dependent. I think another thing that it's where someone is at in their life cycle as well, personally, if you're young, got the drive, there's more hustle generally involved when you go through that young kid phase. There's an element of business owners that want to spend time with their family, and that's where they're comfortable, just sort of with the stability of their business. And then on the other side of that, you come out and you grow again.
Yeah, fair enough.
It all depends on where you are in the life cycle.
Yeah.
How's the new office been treating you guys? How's it been treating the business? That you stepping into that space and growing your businesses with this new office? How's it?
What's allowed me? I brought another broker, so it's given me more opportunity to have more room for more staff there in the office. Having more, like we've got our own boardroom because previously where we were in a shared workspace, so we had the issue of 50 businesses booking out meeting rooms and that sort of thing. So now we've got the luxury of having our own space to have meetings with our clients, referral partners, and also collaborating with other businesses in the building.
Yeah,
being able to bring, like say, a lawyer or into a meeting with you at the same time. It gives that client that they've got the A team around them to sort of help them.
Yeah.
And I think likewise for me, the opportunity just for growth of my team and the personnel around me is only going to help me in the future.
Yeah, nice. Easy. Okay, well, now let's dive into what the future looks like for Connect Macarthur.
Perfect.
So we're in 2026 now. I did mention 2026 before. What does it look like moving into what this year can produce for Connect Macarthur? Where's the vision for you guys?
Yeah, I think much of the same. We come back to the current sort of challenging times that we're all in. I think for me, as I reflect on what we've been able to do in the last sort of 2 or 3 years, the ability for me to connect with other business owners and business owners connect with others is to realize exactly what we've just talking about. Support one another, support local, get around local business owners, and really push one another forward, especially during these difficult times. So for me, a Connect Macarthur thing is all about driving and supporting local businesses in the area. And that's a combination of having events, supporting other business owners, help them to host events. People might be sitting there and thinking, well, what are you going to do to host an event? It's actually not that hard. We help you a lot. Brad and I will help you along the way and convene a lot of that. The world's your oyster. You can do as big as you want, or you can do as small as you want, but we're only too happy to help.
I think on that, it's a good time to talk about people probably say, what's it going to cost? So I think it depends how big you want the event to be. But I'd say majority, it's 70% will probably be covered by the ticketing price for each guest coming along. Then the other 30% of the cost would be coming from the business owner. But then that gives that business owner opportunity to present their business in the way they want and hopefully get some business from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also get their business on this podcast. That's one thing we've
That's true.
always
That's
offered.
another thing.
If people want to come on to the podcast, just another chance to advocate your business. Get your brand out there and reach the followers that we have on multiple different channels. To be fair,
so sponsoring an event with the Connect podcast puts you in an opportunity to showcase your business, create some sort of connection within the local community through a Connect event, and the people that have previously attended to the networking events that run by Connect, and also gets you to jump onto this podcast. And I also get very curious hearing other people's stories and journeys, and we really dive into how they've created their business. So I know there's been a couple of people in the past that have jumped onto this podcast and shared their story, and it's always added incredible value to listeners, because the cool thing about the podcast is it's just a deep conversation and it can go anywhere, but it's being recorded so other people can hear other people's struggles, challenges, and how they've come out on top to build what they are today.
That's right. And I think that's a good showing for what the actual events are like. Coming along, talking to other business owners about what troubles they're having, staffing, trying to save costs, how to grow. Coming on the podcast is showing what it looks like on a larger level, but they're the mini conversations that are happening on an individual basis.
Yeah, absolutely. All business owners have the same issues, and they all have the same wins and the same losses. It's just how they're handled and on what spectrum. That's what I've noticed from the conversations I've had.
And I think you'll find too that, everybody is at a different, cycle of their business. So I could be having a win, Brad could be having a loss, vice versa. I'm, struggling, Brad's winning, and we put our heads together in the office, and it adds an element of, keeps you grounded, but it also the opportunity for us just to, and for Ron and for everybody else we have discussions with, to bounce and share those struggles. And I put my hand up and say that pretty much every time we have a chat with anybody, it doesn't matter who it is, that they've either experienced it or are currently going through it and have solutions to get you through the other side.
Yeah. Because a business owner is where the buck stops for that business. That business owner essentially has to be the solutions person, or else they're just shoving it in the air and saying, F this, I'm walking away. So there's no other chance but that business owner having to come up with solutions. So you come across some pretty creative ideas about how people push through the different challenges. And that's another reason why I enjoy the Connect events and networking events, because when you're connecting with business owners that are grounded and want to support, they genuinely enjoy adding value and supporting through conversations when you do discuss different business situations.
Everyone's happy to knowledge share.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think maybe on your point that we were speaking about earlier is some business owners from the outside are looking in and seeing these events and wanting to be a part of it, and how can we be a part of it moving forward?
Yeah. So in the past, Brad, that we've run 12
events. Yep.
Events. What stories would you feel you can bring to the surface? We wouldn't have to mention names of businesses, or what opportunities you feel these events have opened up for people?
Well, we've seen some huge collaboration between businesses, investing into new business opportunities together, referring some large ongoing clients that they've had some success with, which has been a real feel-good factor, because we've created those events for people to come meet. And then I think we always use the analogy, we can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You've still got to come, talk about your business, work out what you want to get out of those events, what you're looking for in terms of collaboration with other businesses. And you just don't realize those conversations, what can actually come from it. I think I always talk about there might be 10 people might be put off because of the number of people within their category or industry that come to the events, but there might be 10 lawyers, there might be 10 brokers, 6 accountants, 5 electricians, real estate agents, conveyancers. But within that circle, that one lawyer may have a relationship with an accountant, broker, financial planner, real estate agent, but that's their quarterly catch up in a centralized place that they can then stay on top of mind for one another as well.
Yeah, absolutely. But even in that, even given the scenario that you're stepping in a room with a couple of people in the same industry, it comes down to the person's mindset. It's what I've found. I feel like if a person steps into a room with other people in the same industry and they have an abundant mindset, they can look for opportunities in how you can support each other's businesses.
100%.
I've met heaps of Sparkies through these networking circles and from previous events where I've supported their businesses and they've supported my businesses. There could be cases in the past where we haven't been able to deliver to a client just because of how busy we've been. And I want to make sure that this client, my client of mine, still gets the same love and care from another company that I trust. And given that I've met this person at a previous event and we've connected and I can see this person has similar values to mine, I will trust that this person will take care of my client.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree, Pat. So if I'm being, truly honest, when I started that, networking journey a long time ago, there used to be an air of intimidation around other people in my professional profession. But the one thing I've learned is there's enough work to go around, especially in this area. And also the fact that, like you touched on, the ability to bounce ideas, whether it's staffing challenges, software, to bounce ideas off one another, to not necessarily copy, but to create those efficiencies and see what's working, see what's not working, can only, in my opinion, elevate your business. So I think if you come with that mindset, that's kind of what Connect Macarthur is all about.
Yeah, I've noticed that as well.
Yeah, I've got a good example of that as well. So another broker who's come to Connect events, not going to name any names, but they were talking about an issue in their business where they were having a bit of a bottleneck. I was explaining how we've sent some work to some offshore staff who's run by another mortgage broker over there, did an introduction. That mortgage broker then took on a staff member, and that's for that same company, and was able to help continue growing their business. So little knowledge sharing like that is super important across all industries and businesses.
And that's another element of the value that Connect Macarthur brings, because it's the collaboration and the support within the same industries as well. When you've connected with another business owner, if they're in the same industry, and you connect with the person because it's a value alignment situation, you know this person is pretty similar to how you operate. You intentionally, authentically from the inside want to help where you can, and off the back of that, just in itself is another high level value add from these sort of events.
Yeah,
that's something I've noticed.
And just back on your point about the wins that we've seen, in our group chat and the group that we've created on social media. Quite often, you just get previous attendees reach out. Hey, I need help with this. Do we have, someone in this specific industry?
Like someone wanted fly screens, someone wanted an introduction to pest and building inspection.
And everybody jumps on, helps one another out, might help. Quite often it helps out another business owner in that industry who specializes in that particular thing that someone is looking for, and off you go.
Yeah.
And that to me gives me a lot of satisfaction in that what we're doing at that level is working. And we're not out. When we started this, we were not out to set the world on fire. We're out there to make a difference. And that's what it's all about.
Yep, absolutely. So what upcoming events do we have? Are we allowed to talk about it?
Yeah. 100%. We've got a lunch coming up shortly, and we'll release some details on that soon. I think Brad's just working through.
I think it's going to be at Argyle House in Camden, a nice establishment there. So we'll be sending that out, which I think, I don't know, have we agreed to this yet? But I think GPL Partners and Xperity Capital are going to be the sponsors of that event.
Yeah.
unless someone else wants to come on
that's
board.
it.
Nice strategy. Just
That's
throw them, under the bus on air.
Yeah, I think we spitball ideas. So we've got pickleball as an option. A potential golf day is on the horizon.
I think that's the big one. It's going to be our next event. It's going to be golf day in collaboration with a local charity, and that's hopefully going to be an annual event as well.
Yeah,
similar to our toy drive, and we're going to maybe have the golf day, and just working on a few different ideas in the background.
Yeah, nice.
I think a sportsman's lunch is another one, and also something that we're working with, but it's going to take a bit of time to plan, is maybe some sort of mastery coaching course, and we haven't gone into the very specifics, but maybe getting a couple of guest speakers, whether it's in the marketing space,
social media expert or a business coach or something along those lines that can add value to business owners and have a bit of a professional development day for business owners, whether it's held at Oran Park in a cinema there.
Yeah, agreed. But again, we're all ears. So if people have ideas, we're looking for hosts to host those events that we've spoken about. But also, if you've got ideas around events that you think could be good for your business, for the community, shoot a message through.
Yeah, nice.
100%.
Well, the reason why we also jumped on putting the podcast together between Ron, myself, and Ben, the original intention was to support what Connect Macarthur was building. And over the many episodes, this is episode 30, we've brought on some incredible guests that can deliver some incredible value back to the business owners in Connect. And the conversations just get better and better and better. So it's an exciting time ahead, and this is a cool thing we have going, and I can only imagine what it will turn into and eventuate into, because we have a really cool group pushing and driving this. So well done to you, fellas.
Yeah, and thanks to you, and thanks to the Connect podcast for helping support Connect Macarthur.
Yeah, 100%. Big thanks to you, Paddy, for continuing the podcast, and the ability to add value to what we're doing at an event level as well is, I think, only valuable to the local businesses in the area. But also, it does, it comes at a cost of time, money to put this all together. So, and we're just doing it all off, our own goodwill, really.
Yeah. We're connected to something bigger.
Yeah.
We're connected to something bigger, and it is leaving a ripple effect of opportunity on the people around us.
I think that's it. That's what we set out to be. It's all about the long game, longevity. We're all going to be in the area until we retire. Going to have families growing in the area, and it's all about giving back, growing together, working together, and connecting.
Yeah, absolutely. That was smooth. Do you guys want to take this anywhere else? Is there anything you want to bring up and discuss before we start wrapping it up?
No, I think we've covered pretty much everything I was thinking we were going to talk about.
I think, again, just like I touched on earlier, if you're looking to sponsor an event, I think most events for 2026 are locked in. But, nevertheless, there's still opportunities. We generally host 4 to 5 events a year. We do like to plan into the future and have things locked in. So if you're looking to host an event,
2027,
reach out
and there's a message on
the
Connect.
ball rolling.
Yeah, showcase your business, and even having that conversation, or even getting curious about what's involved in hosting an event and showcasing your business, or even jumping on the podcast. Send a message to Dan and Brad.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're thinking about networking, if I can do it, I think anybody can do it. Get out there, create those opportunities for your business, because you won't look back.
Yeah. I was thinking about it the other day. I don't think our business would be where it is, and I don't think what I've been able to create over the years would be where it is without the power of networking. And I say that because it becomes a compounding effect of built up momentum year by year. So the first time I ever dipped my toes into networking was maybe 2018, which I've never networked before. So I didn't know I actually didn't know what networking was. I thought it was IT related, which it is. But so I just went to an event, and then I'm like, oh, this is cool, different, whatever. It's a bit weird, but I'll just go with the flow. But because it's something foreign, it's something new.
Yeah.
Anyone stepping into a foreign environment, well, of course, in the moment think, it's different, might be a bit weird. But after that, when I saw how much opportunity it opened up for people and how open people were to supporting and growing with each other, I thought, you know what, there's potential behind this. And the more I involved myself in the networking world, the more of a compound effect it left on my business and my development personally. And then it turned into this. And if you look back and retrace your steps over the years and where success has come from your business and your development yourself, you can't help but notice how much networking was involved in that and the relationships and collaboration off the back of networking.
I would agree. If you sat down and looked at the one client you're working on today, and then you go back to where that original client came from, and you just go back, piece it all together, it would be from one of those original networking groups. And I think everyone wants to get themselves in business to a point where 90% of your referrals are word of mouth referrals, but you've only got to that level because of the hard networking relationships you built in those early stages, which you need to keep continuing. Otherwise, that word of mouth is only ever last so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Mate, do I end this conversation with the question that we usually ask our guests, or do we cut this part out?
What was the question?
Look, we can edit this. We can edit this part out if you want. But I usually end every conversation. Unless, are we taking this anywhere else? Did you guys want to bring anything else?
Is there a closing quote or something?
No, there's no closing quote. Do you want there to be a closing quote? Do you want to say a closing quote?
Back? No.
I end every conversation asking the guest a question. In this case, there's two guests, and I can ask you both the question. You can both answer if you want to. Do you want to, or am I wasting time right now?
I don't know the question yet.
Yeah.
All right.
If it's one of your loaded questions, Pat, I'm not sure.
But you did pretty well. Okay. 3 people that you want to bring out to a dinner. So these 3 people can be any 3 people in the history of humanity, or anyone that you know in today's world. I'm going to throw it over to you, Brad. You get to pick 3 people.
Can we just go one for one so then I have time to think about the next one? Please, thank you.
Okay.
My first one would probably be Richard Branson. I think just growing up, finishing school, reading books. He's one of the first books I ever read. Obviously, it goes back to my English roots. That's where my family's from. But yeah, just seeing how he was like a business owner. And they always seemed cool, calm, collected, charismatic. He'd be one.
Yeah, I think for me, probably be Mark Burris. I think he's one of the sharpest minds.
Oh, but he's a mortgage broker. I was going to say him next.
No, I think he's one of the sharpest minds in the country, to be fair.
Yeah.
And to pick his brain would be, something.
Look, I love business, but I also love my sport. My second one would probably be Tom Brady.
Okay.
Just a very successful sportsman, quarterback. But when we go back to touch on longevity, I think that's especially huge he was still playing quarterback till he was 45 years old or something. So, and he's kind of cool, got some swag, charismatic.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a joint dinner? I think because I'm happy with Boris as well, but let's go.
That's fine. If we put it back on sport, you lead the sport conversation. I think in my world, I'd probably say someone like Cameron Smith, again, a sharp mind in his own right.
Which one? The golfer, the footy player?
The footy player for the Storm, amassed a massive number of games in the NRL, and to continually do that with only, a handful of injuries and time out of the sport is, there's something in the preparation at an elite level or preparation in your business. Both things have to align. So I think he would be another one.
I think my final one, that we've got a bit of a serious, businessy, sporty crew, so we've got to loosen up things a little bit. So it's got to be probably the best actor and best comedian of all time, Will Ferrell, just to throw some jokes in there and bring the banter.
Favorite actors, and Serena hates him. I get so upset that Serena hates him.
Just his facial expressions and his mannerisms, and I love that guy.
And a third one for me, God, you've put me on the spot. I think, the lightheartedness, nature of things.
Ron Pratt.
Yeah. I'm not really a comedian sort of guy. Not a movie buff. Who else is someone? I think I would have to say the Dalai Lama.
Yeah, well, okay. We got that a couple of times. So
just a bit of peace and energy. to settle us all down.
Yeah, especially in these chaotic times we're in at the moment.
Because then you get pretty crazy when you're out. I've seen you out a couple of times. Yeah, got to calm you down.
Needs
So.
a couple of beers to loosen him up. He's like an onion. He's got to peel back a few of the layers.
That's right.
To show his true colours.
Dalai Lama was very appropriate.
Yeah.
All right, well, fellas, thank you for coming on, and thank you for the work that you do behind the scenes for the Connect and the contributions that you've added into our community and the businesses in our community.
Thank you, Pat.
Well done to both of you, and thank you once again.
Thanks, Pat.
We do end the podcast with one more thing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So you take your shirt off. Take your shirt off. Wrestle on the
Add
table.
bonds.
Yeah.